When you think of sci-fi, it's easy to emphasize on the guns. The handheld blaster, the ship-sized plasma cannons, and the planetary disintegrators is all well and good, but eventually everybody has to go back to the basics. And in the 40k universe, a setting that has been at war for untold millennia, humanity has mastered the art of dealing death, regardless of the tool. So today, let's take a look at the melee weapons available to all human classes in Darktide. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to clarify several things. 1. This is a general overview of the weapon family, not a case study of each mark. This is geared towards giving players new to the game a quick summary of what does what. So if you're a veteran at the game and have anything to add, feel free to comment down below. 2. This is based on my experience with this game. Depending on your playstyle, skill level, personal preference, and in-game level, what you see and hear may not be useful or applicable. 3. Depending on when you're watching this, there might be some weapons missing. Fat Shark likes to add new weapons from time to time, so there's that. With all that being said, let's get into it. As the first weapon available to all human classes, the combat axe is pretty much foolproof in attack, combos, and uses. I mean, it's an axe. The heavy attack for all mark is a repeatable vertical chop, good for anti-armor duties and if you feel like role-playing a serial killer. The special action is a high stagger attack, with Mark 3 and 8 being a uppercut and Mark 5 being a quick jab. Currently, the Antax Mark 5 and a Rashat Mark 3 is the go-to for players due to the near horizontal light attacks, passable for clearing chaff with the brutal momentum blessing. It can deal with most enemies with ease, with only two downsides being the slow swings and the possibility of the axe not penetrating enough. Let me explain. Each enemy has a body mass, and each weapon can go through a set number of enemies before stopping. For the combat axe, you might cleave through maybe 3 enemies before said attack is stopped and your character yanks the weapon out. So keep that in mind when you choose your weapon. Considered a meta weapon by the community, this little knife may seem out of place with all the crazy swords, axes, and blunts in the game. And as you can imagine, the damage isn't something to sing praises about, but it does have 2 advantages when compared with other weapon types: speed and blessing. The special action for currently both variants is a sucker punch that ignores staggered resistance, but tickles enemies instead of hurting them. The popular blessing for the combat blade is Lacerate and Mercy Killer. Coupled with any bleed inflicting passives in a class's skill tree, you can stack bleeds extremely quickly on someone and watch them bleed to death. Just remember to dodge and weave constantly and you'll be good. Currently, the Mark 3 is the most beginner friendly with a near horizontal light combos and a 2-stab heavy combo. If you like the flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee playstyle, this is a good option for you. A somewhat forgotten child, the tactical axe has seen some revival as of late. On first glance, the light and heavy attacks doesn't seem to do much damage when compared to the beefier combat axe, but what it lacks in damage, it makes up for it in mobility and attack speed. Think of it as a smaller, quicker cousin of the combat axe. Naturally, aiming for the head is the go-to method when using a tactical axe. The Atrox Mark II is the most beginner-friendly with near horizontal heavy combos, so get that if you can. And as with the combat axe, brutal momentum is preferred for the eventual horde clearing. A beloved weapon for Psychers and a broken weapon for Veteran and Zealot, the Dueling Sword, more specifically the Mark IV, has the most useful heavy attack, 2 thrusts that can bypass armor. With the right blessings, one of them being thrust, you can 2-shot an Ogre Crusher. It's fast, is foolproof, and everybody loves it. The special action for all marks is a fast, high staggered poke, good for combining with the heavy thrust. Light combos are okay against hordes, just remember to dodge constantly. One tip I can give is to bring something for big hordes. While it's okay for mopping up some stragglers, it won't clear a horde easily.
Feast on defeat, traitor!
A favorite of skilled players, the Devil's Claw offers something truly unique. When you activate the special action, your character goes into a stylized blocking animation that parries any and all melee attack. If you time it right, you can counter any melee damage, bouncing it back to the attacker. This means a good player can counter a Crusher's overhead slam and even a Demon Host attacks. Plus, the light and heavy attack on the Mark 1 and Mark 4 makes it okay with general horde clearing. The only downside is that you need the special parry to deal with carapace. You have to wait for the enemy to make the first move. Plus, it's hard to parry when you have more than 2 Ogryn/Ragers barreling down on you, so pack something to thin out the numbers will be a good idea. Something of a polar opposite to the Dueling Sword, the Heavy Sword is geared towards clearing unarmored hordes. The special action is a slash with the sharpened back edge of the sword. Something not generally known is that this weapon type deals extra damage against maniacs like mutants and raiders. Use the heavy attack to deal with flak foes, or better yet, kill them before you get into melee range. It'll take some effort to kill something in flak. Just avoid using it against carapace foes like Ogryn Crushers. It does not perform well against carapace. Blessing wise, Deathblow and Rampage are the most common combo to go with for a well-rounded performance. A staple of 40k, the Chainsword can be considered a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none weapon. The light combo can reliably clear a horde, while the heavy combo deals with flak relatively well. The special action has you rev the engine on your weapon. When you hit an enemy, the weapon latches on and saw through said enemy's health. The sawing action also stunlocks your target, so if you have a Rager going nuts on you, it can stop him mid-combo. As of the time of recording, it's the fastest out of the currently 2 shared chain weapon types in-game. The most beginner-friendly chainsword is the Mark 13G, so get that if you can. In summary, good for horde clear and generally okay for flak and carapace, but be careful when using the special action, as the weapon will lash onto the target it hits, making you wide open for other enemies to attack you. And in terms of blessings, it really depends on what you want. For me, I recommend Bloodletter for bosses and carapace, and Rampage for general horde clearing. The chain axe is, well, a chainsaw axe. In every regard, it's the opposite of the chain sword. It's slower on the swing, but hits like a fully loaded truck. The special is the same as the sword, revving the engine to saw through an enemy. Generally, it's good against everything in skilled hands, but you do need to get familiar with the combos. The Mark 6's heavy combo and the Mark 12's light combo for hordes, and save the opposite for tankier foes. And finally, Bloodletter and Thrust are my recommended blessings for both marks. I don't know how to do a segue, so I apologize for the abrupt change. Eventually, you'll have to fight a boss character with a personal force field, indicated by a gold bar above their health and, well, a golden bubble around their body. The shield are programmed to take increased damage from melee and reduce damage from range, meaning a hit from an axe will be better than a shot from a gun. So if you have a chain weapon with you, using the special sawing attack will melt the shield faster than you can say Holy Emperor. Bonus points if you have 2 or better yet, a full team with chain weapons. It will not be a boss fight, I can tell you that much. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Something introduced in the Secrets of the Machine God update, it's a shock baton used by the Arbites and Enforcers, cops in the 40k setting. The special action is a poke that tases the target, stunning them and leaving them open for attacks. On paper, it's great at crowd control, but to do that effectively, one must mix the heavy and light combos. The light attacks itself won't be able to crowd control effectively on its own. For carapace foes, tase them and then beat them. Be careful since the tase has the same latch-on effect as the chain weapons. Practice in the Zicanium first before using it in the mission. That's all I can say. And with the horde clearing combo in mind, Thrust is a must, followed by either Opportunist or Overwhelming Force. Now that we're near the end of this video, I bet you have this important question on your mind. Which weapon should I use? And to be honest, I can't answer that. Fat Shark likes to change the damage numbers and, in some cases, attack patterns for balancing purposes. So what is good now might be terrible in the future and vice versa. The best advice I can give is to cover your gun's weak points. Using a plasma gun? Get something to clear the horde like a Devil's Claw. Have an infantry autogun? Bring a chain axe or an combat axe for carapace foes. Using a shotgun, dueling sword, combat knife, or tactical axe are a good side piece. There aren't rules in what you should or shouldn't bring, but being dynamic and adaptable is generally better than being specialized into one type of enemy. Who knows, your 3 teammates might go down and you might need to solo your way for a period of time. It'll be a lot easier if you have a weapon for every situation, right? And besides, the bot teammates aren't the smartest, so relying on them isn't the best. And that concludes this video. Leave a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you all again soon. Have a good day.